In a major diplomatic development, US and Ukrainian officials on Sunday unveiled a new peace framework, a 28-point draft plan aimed at ending the ongoing conflict with Russia, while fully protecting Ukraine's sovereignty. This new framework comes after intensive, high-stakes discussions in Geneva, where negotiators from both nations held what they described as constructive, focused, and deeply respectful talks on the US proposed peace blueprint. According to officials, the Geneva meetings marked significant progress, helping both sides align their positions and outline the next crucial steps. At the heart of these consultations is a shared belief: any future agreement must deliver a durable, just, and enforceable peace. The current version of the document, although still in the final stages of approval, already reflects most of Ukraine's key priorities, said Rustem Umerov, negotiator and secretary of Ukraine's Security Council. Following these discussions, the US and Ukraine jointly drafted a refined peace framework, signaling renewed commitment to ending the war and preventing further loss of life. Earlier, US President Donald Trump publicly criticized Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
I'd like to get the peace. It should have happened a long time ago. The Ukraine war with Russia should have never happened. If I were president, it never would have happened. We're trying to get it ended. One way or the other, we have to get it ended. So
are you willing to go either?
Well, then he can continue to fight his little heart out.
But within hours, Zelensky took to X with a measured yet clear reply. He wrote, "Ukraine is grateful to the United States, to every American heart, and personally to President Trump for the assistance that, starting with the javelins, has been saving Ukrainian lives." Zelensky's message appeared aimed at easing tensions and reaffirming Ukraine's reliance on long-standing US support amid ongoing negotiations. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says talks on the US-led peace plan to end the Russia-Ukraine war have made tremendous progress.
I think we made a tremendous amount of progress, even from the last time I spoke to you, and I apologize for keeping you waiting, but there was more work to be done. We began almost 3 weeks ago with a foundational document that we socialized and ran by both sides, and with input from both sides. And one of the things that happens when you've been involved in this now for 10 months is you get a pretty good sense of what the priorities and the red lines and the important issues are for both sides. And so that allowed us to create a foundational document. We arrived here today with one goal, and the goal was to take is 28 points or 26 points, depending on which version as it continued to evolve, and try to narrow the ones that were open items. And we have achieved that today in a very substantial way. Now, obviously, like any final agreement, they'll have to be agreed upon by the presidents, and there are a couple issues that we need to continue to work on. But I think the report today is that I think today was worthwhile. It was very, very, it is probably the most productive day we have had on this issue. Maybe in the entirety of our engagement, but certainly in a very long time. But work remains, and because this continues to be a working process, I don't want to declare victory or finality here. There's still some work to be done, but we are much further ahead today at this time than we were when we began this morning and where we were a week ago for certain. It evolved. This is a living, breathing document. Every day with input, it changes. There are some that involved equities or the role of the EU or of NATO or so forth, and those we kind of segregated out because we just met with the national security advisors for various European countries, and those are things we'll have to discuss with them because it involves them. So we sort of really focused on the ones that were bilateral in nature for the most part. So there are a couple, none of it insurmountable. I can tell you that the items that remain open are not insurmountable. We just need more time than what we have today. I honestly believe we'll get there. So I'm not going to speculate or go into the details of any of the specific items in the latest version of the proposal because, frankly, by tomorrow or the next day, that may have evolved and changed further. And but I can tell you, that I feel very optimistic that we can get something done here because we made a tremendous amount of progress.
Earlier, reports say the 28-point proposal mirrors Moscow's early 2022 demands and was drafted by Russian and US officials with backing from Trump, without any consultation with Kyiv. Ukrainian officials said the proposal amounted to capitulation and the end of Ukraine's sovereignty. It surfaced nearly 4 years after Russia's failed assault on Kyiv and as Trump administration efforts to broker a settlement remain stalled. The 28-point proposal draws inspiration from President Trump's push for an agreement in Gaza. A senior Russian official told Axios that he is optimistic about the initiative. Sources told the outlet that the plan is divided into 4 broad themes: peace in Ukraine, security guarantees, European security, and the future of U.S. relations with both Russia and Ukraine. However, the approach to key disputes, including territorial control in eastern Ukraine, remains unclear. Russian forces have been making incremental gains but still hold far less territory than the Kremlin has demanded. As of now, the US and Ukraine are moving closer to a historic peace deal. With both nations committed, the goal is clear: end the war, protect Ukraine's sovereignty, and secure a stable future. Final decisions now rest with the presidents, a defining moment for the region.